Hi folks, TS here again, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I've not long finished, Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the fourth book in the ACOTAR series, Court of Thorn and Roses. It's actually the fifth book, but book 4, A Court of Frost and Starlight, is considered more as book 3.5, so it's more of a palate cleanser than its own novel. This one's 751 pages long, so it took me about a month and a half to read. But I was reading other books at the same time, so can't really blame it. This book is a change from the rest of the series because we follow Nesta and Cassian rather than Feyre and Rhys, as we have in the other stories. The other books, I should say. At the start of the story, Nesta's given an option to get herself in shape, or they're going to dump her back in the human lands. So it's a case of shape up or ship out. Because she's drinking herself into a stupor every night, going home with random guys from the taverns. But we realise as we get into the story that Nesta's just trying to drink herself into oblivion to quiet her mind. Because she still has a lot of trauma from going into the cauldron in book 2. Spoiler. I should probably warn you. There's going to be a fair few spoilers in this video. So yeah. Cassian's given the task of training Nesta, so he takes her up to Windhaven to the Illyrian camps, where she refuses to do anything. And she's pretty stern on the fact that she won't do anything while she's there. She doesn't like the Illyrian camps at Windhaven. Cassian figures out that if they go somewhere more private, like the practice ring at the top of the House of Wind, then Nesta is more willing to take part. Nesta's also given a job to keep her busy in the libraries under the House of Wind, shelving books for Clotho and the rest of the priestesses, where she meets Gwyn, one of the priestesses, and they become friends. Nesta thinks she doesn't deserve, because she's still dealing with a lot of trauma. Nesta convinces Gwyn to come along to training lessons with her, along with Emery as well, an Illyrian woman from Windhaven, and the three become friends. A lot of the story is about Nesta and Cassian's relationship, which they both agree at the beginning is just sex. But as you can probably tell, over the course of the book it develops into something more. I'm going to put this down now because it's getting heavy. Some of the other priestesses working in the library join Nesta during the training sessions with Cassian after seeing a display that she put on through the stacks, and a display that Nesta put on in the stacks to show that Cassian was basically a good guy and wouldn't touch them inappropriately, because a lot of the priestesses are dealing with traumas of their own, which is why they're at the House of Wind. It's a safe haven for them. Brillian, the queen that was made by the cauldron at the end of the second book, has the crown of the Dread Trove, which is a collection of 3 made items, each with their own powers. There's the crown, which is in Brilliant's possession, which allows her to control people's minds. There's the harp, and there's a mask. And to stop the war, Nesta and the gang have to try and find the harp and the mask before Brilliant or anybody else can get to them. Nesta, Gwyn and Emery are doing the training with Cassian. As other priestesses join in, they have to rope in Asriel to help as well. But Cassian focuses on our main 3 characters. Part of Valkyrie training is you need to be able to slice a ribbon with a sword. The ribbon's tied to a post and it's just fluttering in the wind. Using the 8-pointed star maneuvers, each of our 3 main female characters, Nesta, Gwyn and Emery, finally learn how to slice the ribbon without leaving any frayed or jagged edges. And as they slice the ribbon, as each of them slices the ribbon, another one will tie it around their foreheads and crown them as a Valkyrie. Once the main 3 have all learned how to slice the ribbon, Asriel and Cassian change things up a bit. Instead of the training ring, they now have an assault course, which changes every day. And it takes them about 2 months before they actually pass the assault course. It takes about 2 months for our main characters to pass the assault course. And what they find out is that the assault courses they've been doing are actually the practice stages for the Illyrian blood rites. The blood rites is a 7-day trial that every Illyrian must take part in to prove themselves as a warrior. It aims to get to the top of the mountain Ramiel. Hundreds of warriors take part every year. Very few survive. Our Valkyries, as they shall henceforth be known, Nesta, Gwyn, and Emery, are kidnapped after they pass the assault course and forced to take part, because if they don't take part, they'll die. Nobody's allowed to swoop in and save them, which annoys Cassian to no end, because anything could happen to Nesta. Especially considering the evening before, they had a massive argument falling out because Nesta realised that Cassian was her mate. And Cassian had poor choice of words about being shackled to Nesta. So Nesta called in her deal with Cassian to make him go away until she was ready to talk to him, or until a week had passed, whichever comes first. And Nesta spent the night with Gwyn and Emery, where she realises that she loves Cassian after all, and it's more than just sex. Nesta stays back to fight off a group of warriors after Gwyn is hurt, and Emery carries Gwyn up the mountain to reach the stone and win. There's a lot of plot points I haven't covered because this is quite a big book. But yeah, it was good. Give it 4 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. If you stayed to the end, like and subscribe if you want to. Cheers. Bye.